Shit, I meant to talk about my trash luck last week.
I genuinely did want to bring it up, but yeah, you forgot.
And I need to talk about the Space Wolves. I think I've forgotten to talk about their index for all this time. I'm pretty sure there's other subgroups of Space Marines I've not yet talked about, though.
Going to talk about Space Wolves this week? I've worked with a lot of them. They're pretty heavy melee, really.
No, actually, not this week at least. I'll probably talk about them next week, but I just had a competition some week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I wanted to talk about that, actually.
Oh? How'd the competition go?
I got my ass handed to me and took last place, actually. I learned a few things, actually, some of which were insanely stupid rulings that actually make one of the best units in the game much less valuable.
Wait, what's wrong with 1,000 Suns?
What, No. Of course it's not the goddamn blue trim and gold trim boys. It's Canis Rex. So, I found out that Canis Rex, for the purposes of Bring It Down, you'd need to take out both the knight and the pilot, Sir Hector, spelled in a way that makes spellcheck hate me to hell and back, like a Sabaton song. So, for the purposes of that secondary, you'll get the amount of points for 24 wounds vehicle. Add into it the Warlord stuff as well, you'll only get these, say, Lalo the Tyrant or similar, if you kill both as well. But then we've got something weird. Assassination secondary objective, you get some points for every character unit you kill, and Canis Rex, he counts as one, while Sir Hector counts as another character. So you get 2 kills for 1 unit, and it's possible to kill both with 1 shot because you need to disembark roll for Hector to get out, like they're intercessors leaving a rhino. This brings up a major issue with my competitive list. I had this competition that led to everyone using fixed objectives. I had a Knight Lancer, Canis Rex, and 2 assassins. That maths out to 5 characters with 4 units. Now, I've made adjustments to my list after the competition, and I want to point out that my changes are a result of one of my favorite knights being dropped down by a metric ton of points. The 2 assassins I had are the Vindicare Assassin and the Calidus Assassin. The Vindicare was absolutely useless. Never got his shots in, but he got lots of shots off. Nothing. Not one could even hit. He hits on a 2+. That shows my luck. The Calidus Assassin got about as much use out of. The 12-inch range of their stratagem cost ability is very avoidable, really. Honestly, assassins just aren't much use, especially given the cheapest ones are 100 points, and they're hyper-specific, so I've made 2 changes. One change is that I got rid of the Calidus Assassin as her uppy-downy ability. It is pretty good, just not good enough to warrant the 100 points cost. I replaced her with a unit of Imperial Navy Breachers, a much smaller unit that costs 10 points less, but is also battle line, meaning that they can do a bit more to get extra victory points. Add into it, they have a lot of abilities. One of those abilities is essentially super grenade throw and wound boost, and something to do with cats. I can't recall the ability off the top of my head, but they're pretty good replacement unit. But the other thing I did was also remove Canis Rex, essentially getting rid of 3 character units, but I replaced Canis Rex with a Knight Valiant, my favorite knight, who dropped by a ton of points, so I got rid of 2 character units in total. Now, with the Valiant's new points drop, I could add the teleportation enhancement on him, while giving the Lancer the sticky objective enhancement. Valiant has some great anti-vehicle abilities, and giving him the teleportation stuff as well, he's got some jank. So my new list is 2 Helverin Armigers, 4 Warglaive Armigers, a Knight Lancer and a Knight Valiant, a Vindicare Assassin, and Imperial Navy Breachers. Of course, I know that I made some mistakes though. During my 3rd match, I went up against World Eaters. When we met at the table, we looked at each other dead in the eyes and said, Angron versus Lancer, and we immediately went for that. My Lancer won the fight, no outside interactions from other dudes nearby, just Angron and the Lancer going toe to toe. But after that, I made a huge mistake. I took the Lancer to the middle of the board to do some secondary, and when I got there, I forgot to do the objective, which would take an action. Titanic units can do actions and shoot, but I did a charge action, which I realized I forgot the objective as I was looking at the end of turn points accumulations. I saw blood and I leapt for it, like an absolute idiot. I fully admit that was my major mistake. First game, the mistakes were primarily for the list itself. Too many characters, simple really, and I made some adjustments. Game 3 was that main mistake. It wouldn't have made me win, but I assume I made multiple mistakes, not just there. Hell, looking at my competition record for this game, you'll notice I stopped getting points at the halfway point. And I want to point out something about my dice. My boss loaned me his lucky dice, and they went well for the first round of the first match. Then I couldn't hit the broadside of the barn from the inside. I want to point out my Vindicare with the 2 ups and missing everything. During that 3rd game, I couldn't hit anything. But I did kill the enemy warlord very early, giving me Lalo the Tyrant's honored ability, allowing my Feel No Pain to be up on a 5 instead of 6s. But, like I said, I couldn't hit the broadside of the barn from the inside. But I also couldn't be hurt because FNP just wouldn't allow it. Honestly, it stretched the game longer than it needed to be, but it was fun. My opponent, however, got very annoyed. Like I said, first game also against Knights players that actually taught me how to play Knights. My mistake was mainly the list itself. He said I probably couldn't have done much better outside of my list and my shit luck. Second game was against Grey Knights, and that was also mostly my shit luck screwing me over. Honestly, that was the most fun I had in the competition, but I really hate the teleportation armies, especially given every time I got close enough to a unit to actually kill it, he'd pull it off the table. The units didn't really bother with trying to kill my knights, he just teleported away to do secondaries. Smart, but annoying. The last one, I made a major mistake with that 3rd round and after, but that Lalo the Tyrant definitely gave me a benefit. A benefit that didn't seem that great, but a lot of it was just my luck. The Calidus Assassin actually put in some effort in this match, but she didn't do much. But next week, Space Wolves, don't let me forget, Darren.
Okay, I'll try.
Thank you. Now, shove off.